Alright, I'm going to do something in this video that apparently nobody in this space can do without losing their mind in one direction or the other. I'm going to tell you what AI is actually doing to 3D jobs. Not what it might do. Not what it theoretically could do if you extrapolate current trends into a speculative future and add some dramatic music. Not what someone on Twitter who has never worked a professional 3D job in their life thinks it's doing based on a mid-journey demo they watched on YouTube. What is actually measurably, observably doing right now. In real pipelines, at real studios, for real clients, in 2026. And here's my promise to you up front. I'm going to make both sides of the AI discourse uncomfortable. The doomed crowd who thinks every 3D artist is 18 months from unemployment is going to hear things that don't fit their narrative. And the AI can never replace real creativity crowd. The ones who respond to every AI development with, but can it have a soul though? Yeah, they're also going to hear some things they don't want to. Because the truth, which is almost always less exciting than either extreme, is specific. It's contextual. It's nuanced in ways that require you to actually think about your specific situation rather than just picking a team and defending it online. And look, I get why people pick teams. The uncertainty is genuinely uncomfortable. When something is changing the industry you've built your career around, the impulse to either catastrophize or dismiss is a completely understandable psychological response to that discomfort. But neither response is useful. And after watching this debate play out in the 3D community for a couple of years now, I think it's time for a video that actually tries to be useful. So, let's talk about what's real. Here's what we're doing today. I'm going to walk you through exactly what AI is changing in the 3D industry right now. Specific workflows, specific job categories, specific types of work. And I'm going to tell you honestly whether the change is significant or overstated. I'm going to show you what AI cannot currently do and why the gap between what it can do and what certain high-value work requires is larger than the doom narrative suggests. I'm also going to give you a clear, practical picture of how working 3D artists are actually integrating AI tools right now. Not in theory, not aspirationally, but in real production contexts. Because the most useful version of this conversation is not, will AI take your job, but how are the artists who are thriving in this environment using AI differently from the ones who are struggling? That difference is real. It's specific, and it's not the difference you might expect. And I'll be honest about timelines, because I think one of the most intellectually dishonest things in the AI discourse is treating uncertain future developments as current realities. What's happening now is different from what might happen in 3 years. I'll be clear about which is which. Let's get into it. Before the breakdown, I need to share something that I think reframes the entire conversation. A few months ago, I was talking to a creative director at a mid-sized production studio. Someone who's been in this industry for over 15 years. Seen a lot of technological shifts. Not someone who panics easily or dismisses things readily. And I asked them directly, how has AI actually changed what you're hiring for? And their answer was not what I expected. It was not, we need fewer 3D artists. It was not, AI has made everyone's job easier. It was something more specific and more interesting than either of those. They said, we're hiring differently, not less, differently. The things we need from a human artist have changed. And the artists who understand what those things are, who figured out what they bring that the tools don't, those artists are more valuable to us now than they were 2 years ago. The ones who haven't figured that out yet, that's where it's getting harder. More valuable. That phrase, from a working creative director at a real studio. In 2026, that is not the narrative most people are operating on. And understanding specifically what that creative director meant, what the things are that humans bring that the tools don't, is the most important thing I can give you in this video. But I want to build toward it properly. Because if I just tell you develop your taste and judgment without showing you specifically what that means in the context of how AI is actually changing the work, it's just another piece of vague creative career advice. And there's enough of that already. Let me show you the full picture first. Let's start with the honest list of what has genuinely changed. Because some things have. and pretending otherwise is not useful. Concept generation and mood boarding. This is probably the most significant change to working practice for a lot of 3D artists right now. The early ideation phase of a project, generating visual references, exploring directional options, showing a client what a scene might feel like before committing to production. This used to take meaningful human hours. Now an artist can generate 20 directional variations in an afternoon that would have taken days of roughing out in 3D. The result is that clients now expect this phase to be faster and cheaper than it used to be. That's a real compression. The billable hours that used to come from the ideation phase have shrunk. This is not hypothetical. It's happening. Texture and material generation. Tools like Substance's AI features, various diffusion-based texture generators, and material synthesis tools have genuinely accelerated the texturing workflow. Getting to a first-pass material that's close to what you want before hand tweaking is significantly faster than it was 3 years ago. For texture-heavy work, this is a real productivity gain. Artists who've integrated these tools are producing more per hour than artists who haven't. Background and environmental fill. For work that requires environmental context, product shots that need a setting, scenes that need background detail, AI generation has become a genuine tool for populating the parts of a frame that don't need to be hero quality. Composite workflows where AI-generated elements fill supporting roles while the 3D hero element maintains full quality. These are real, they're in production, and they're changing the time economics of certain types of commercial work. Basic asset generation, with significant caveats. There are tools that generate rough 3D geometry from text or image prompts, and they generate rough geometry in the most literal sense of that word. Topology is usually problematic. Proportions are approximate at best. Production readiness is essentially zero without significant rework. For blocking reference and rough ideation, useful. For production assets, not there. Not in 2026. The artists predicting imminent death of asset creation from these tools are extrapolating from capability that doesn't currently exist at production quality. Okay, now the other side. And this is the part one want you to actually hear, not as reassurance, but as specific, accurate information. AI cannot art direct. I keep coming back to this because I think it's the most important thing to understand about where the actual ceiling of current AI capability is. Art direction is not the generation of visually interesting images. It's the judgment about whether a specific visual solution serves a specific brief for a specific client in a specific context. It's knowing when something is technically impressive but wrong for this project. It's being able to look at 20 AI-generated options and know which one is closest to right and specifically why, and then knowing exactly what to change to get from closest to right to actually right. That judgment cannot be prompted. You cannot describe your way to taste. You either have developed the critical apparatus to evaluate visual work or you haven't. And if you have, AI makes you faster at generating options to evaluate. It does not make the evaluation obsolete. AI cannot manage a client relationship. A client hires a 3D artist for a product launch campaign. They send a brief. The brief has a gap in it, something they forgot to specify that will significantly affect the visual direction. An experienced artist identifies the gap, asks the right question, and saves 2 weeks of revision. An AI tool executes the brief as written and produces technically correct output that misses what the client actually needed. The ability to read a brief intelligently, ask the question that the brief didn't know to answer, and manage the client relationship through the revision process with professional communication. This is not a creative skill. It's a professional skill, and it's completely absent from any AI tool currently in production. AI cannot integrate with a specific production pipeline. A virtual production studio is running Unreal Engine on an LED volume stage. They have specific technical requirements, performance budgets, lighting systems, camera tracking integrations, data pipelines. Every project has to fit into that specific technical environment. An AI tool does not know that environment exists. A skilled artist who knows that environment, who understands the constraints and makes every creative decision in light of them, is not replaceable by a tool that operates in isolation. AI cannot develop a brief from a client who doesn't know what they want. Some of the most valuable work a 3D artist does happens before any 3D work happens. The discovery process, helping a client articulate what they actually want when they come in with a vague feeling and a reference image from 2019. This is fundamentally a human conversation. It requires empathy, patience, the ability to ask the right clarifying question at the right moment, and the professional experience to translate an emotional brief into a concrete visual direction. No tool does this. Okay, so what does the difference actually look like in practice? Between the artists who are doing well in this environment and the ones who are struggling? I've been paying attention to this, and the pattern is clearer than I expected. They use AI for the repeatable, not the irreplaceable. The artists who've integrated AI well are using it specifically for the parts of their workflow that are time-consuming, repetitive, and not the primary thing their clients are paying them for. Generating reference options, roughing out textures before refining, producing background elements that support the hero work. AI handles the supporting cast. The human handles the lead. The artists who are struggling are either refusing to use AI tools at all and falling behind on production speed, or using AI for everything indiscriminately and producing generic output that looks like everyone else's AI-assisted work and is immediately recognizable as such. They've gotten more specific, not less. Here's the counterintuitive one. You'd expect AI to push artists toward broader application. If the tools can handle more, you can spread wider. But the artists thriving are actually going narrower, deeper into a specific niche, more focused on a specific client type, more deliberate about developing domain knowledge in a specific industry. Because here's what AI hasn't changed: the value of being the obvious specialist. The artist who clearly, demonstrably knows a specific world, who understands the aesthetic language of premium cosmetics, or the technical requirements of automotive visualization, or the specific pipeline of virtual production, is more valuable now than they were before AI, not less. Because the thing that makes them the obvious choice is not generic 3D skill. It's the combination of 3D skill with specific knowledge. And that combination is not generatable. They've invested in their point of view. The artists who are commanding the best rates in 2026 have something that makes their work identifiable. Not just competent, not just technically proficient, recognizable. A distinct way of approaching light or composition or material quality or storytelling within a frame. Something that a client recognizes as theirs. AI generates to the mean. It produces visually competent, statistically normal output. A strong point of view is by definition not the mean. It's a specific deviation from it, in a specific direction, for specific reasons, consistently. That specificity is valuable precisely because AI makes the mean accessible to everyone, which means the mean becomes worthless. The deviation, the genuine artistic perspective, becomes more valuable, not less. They've gotten better at the human parts. The artists doing well have actively invested in the skills that AI cannot replicate. Communication, client management, brief interrogation, art direction, the ability to lead a creative process rather than just execute a technical one. These are skills that felt optional when the market was rewarding pure technical competency. They no longer feel optional, and the artists who've developed them are finding that these skills, combined with solid 3D fundamentals, make them genuinely irreplaceable in a way that technical skill alone no longer does. I said I'd be clear about what's happening now versus what might happen in 3 years. Let me be specific. Right now, the jobs most at risk are commodity-level, high-volume, low-differentiation 3D work. Generic product renders for clients who are price-sensitive. Background asset creation at volume. Basic motion graphics work that requires no particular creative judgment. These categories are under real pressure. If your primary income comes from this tier, that's not a future concern. That's a current one. Over the next 2 to 3 years, the pressure will likely extend upward into the mid-market generalist space. Competent but undifferentiated 3D work of the kind that a good mid-level generalist produces. This is the next category to face meaningful AI-driven compression, not elimination. Compression. Rates getting harder to maintain. Clients expecting more per dollar. The space getting more competitive as AI raises the floor. The specialist, premium, judgment-heavy, relationship-dependent work. The S-tier and A-tier categories from the salary video. These are the categories with the longest runway. Not infinite runway, but long enough to build a career on if you're moving in the right direction now. The artists who are ahead of this curve are not the ones who figured out which jobs AI won't take. They're the ones who figured out which skills make them irreplaceable in the specific context they've chosen, and are building those skills deliberately. Now, something I want to address that this whole conversation has been circling without landing on directly. Everything I've described, the AI-proof skills, the point of view, the specialization, the human parts, all of it assumes you know what your specific direction is, what your niche is, what type of client you're building toward, what the specific world is that you're developing domain knowledge in. And if you don't have that clarity yet, which honestly is most artists, especially in the first few years, then develop your point of view and go deeper in your niche are directionally correct, but practically empty. You can't develop a point of view in a vacuum. You can't go deeper in a niche you haven't chosen. The question underneath all of this is, how do you actually choose? How do you figure out which direction is right for you specifically, given your skills, your interests, your market, and the particular moment in the industry we're navigating? That's a question I've been putting off addressing directly. And I think it's time to actually go there. Not with a generic follow your passion answer, but with a specific, honest framework for making the niche decision in a way that is both commercially intelligent and personally sustainable. That's the next video. And if you've been nodding along to everything in this series, but still don't have a clear answer to what's my specific direction, that one is going to be the most useful thing I've made for you specifically. So, how is AI actually changing 3D jobs? It's compressing the concept and mood boarding phase. It's accelerating texture and material work. It's providing tools for background and fill elements. It's beginning to affect basic asset generation, with significant quality limitations that matter in production. It cannot art direct. It cannot manage a client relationship. It cannot integrate with a specific production pipeline. It cannot develop a brief from a client who doesn't know what they want. The artists thriving are using it for the repeatable, not the irreplaceable. Going narrower and deeper rather than broader. Investing in point of view. Getting better at the human parts. And the honest timeline, commodity work is under pressure now. Mid-market generalism will face pressure in 2 to 3 years. Specialist, judgment-heavy, relationship-dependent work has the longest runway. That's the actual picture. Less dramatic than the doom crowd. More substantive than the dismissers. And, if you know what to do with it, genuinely useful. Subscribe if this is the kind of honest, no-hype analysis you want more of, because that's what this channel is. Hit the bell for the next video, because the niche decision framework is the piece that makes all of this actionable rather than just interesting. And drop a comment. Where do you think your current work sits on the spectrum from AI vulnerable to AI resistant? Be honest. I'm genuinely curious, and I read every single one. I'll see you in the next one.